Hi guys, Ray here from City Fan TV. Well, I think there's still a couple of minutes to go, something like that in injury time. I've turned the game off. City losing by 2-0 to Southampton. Guys, this has been one of the most abysmal performances I've ever seen from City. It's been horrible. No desire at all. Yeah, to be honest, there was no point going there. If you're going to go there, put some effort in, put some desire in, have some quality. Okay, have some quality, and we've offered nothing. Very, very little. It's been, as I said, it's been one of the worst performances I've ever seen. That first half was just disgusting. It really was. The number of misplaced passes, it's like every third pass was misplaced. So many interceptions. Southampton scored 2 goals. They could have had another one or two. We were blooming awful. And a lot of angry fans. Look, you don't mind. Well, all right, we do mind losing. But you can accept losing if the other teams played well or they've been really lucky and you've given it everything. We have not had the heart for this game. The effort has not been there. The desire has not been there. I mean, I have no idea what Calvin Phillips has done. He was absolutely awful. Awful, that 60 minutes or so that he played. I mean, we had Lavia, who was playing for Southampton. We sold Lavia to Southampton. He's a kid. He's, 20 years old. He looked 10 times better than Phillips, who we paid, 45 million for? Absolutely appalling. Gomez, I have no idea what he was doing. But all over the pitch, you had Laporte making mistakes, trying to blame somebody else. It was just errors strewn all over the place. Absolutely right, Renzel. I was going to say, Southampton have pressed us and we have failed. But I just don't understand. How we've not been able to control the ball and make simple passes. And the biggest person to blame is the manager. You've got to point the finger at Pep Guardiola because this is on him. What on earth was he doing with that setup, with that lineup? I mean, was it Kyle Walker playing centre-back or did we have 3 at the back? It was an absolute shambles. It was a mess. And my opinion here, okay, it's been such a dire, dreadful, insipid performance from the players and the manager alike. Okay, they should dig in. They should dip into their own pockets, not the club, their own pockets, and pay those 3,200 fans, most of them who have come from Manchester. Yeah, some of them taking a day off work, half a day off work, forked out for tickets, forked out for transport and everything else. They should refund them because they do not deserve to have paid money to see that performance. It's been horrible. Oh, absolutely, Renzo. He's underestimated them. The players have gone in there with a level of arrogance I've failed to see anywhere for years. The level of arrogance there. I remember we were 2-0 down, really struggling in the game. And Jack Grealish, he tries this back heel in his own half when there's 2 men on him. Yes, if it works, you got your man through. But it's still in our own half, or just entering their half. What on earth are you doing it for? You lose the ball like an idiot. You lose the ball, okay? And then those 2 guys are running down the pitch. It was terrible. I can't use the language I want to use today. My lads heard me today using some choice language at this driver who nearly hit us because he was turning. We had a green light at the lights, and he decided that he wanted to try and sneak through. Yeah, and my lads heard some slightly blue language. I'm trying to keep it clean because this is forever on YouTube unless I take them down. So you've got to be really careful what you say. But that has been terrible. Pep, this is on you. And I'm going to ask I was going to do the video tomorrow, but I'm going to ask you the question now. Is this one contract too far for Pep? Is it one contract too far? Because this is an absolutely lousy, lame performance. And you've ended up putting 5 guys on the pitch, not 5 guys. going for a burger. You put 5 guys on the pitch who you wanted to play against United, who you were resting for United, who you wanted to play maybe 15 or 20 minutes at the end. You've had to put, was it 3 of them on at half time? This has been a terrible performance. I want to know why Walker was subbed. I want to know why people were subbed. And you need journalists with balls to go to Pep and ask him these difficult questions. It's like, what on earth were you playing at? What was your setup? What were your strategy? What were your tactics? Why were these players not seemingly bothered to put the effort in? Yeah, why were they not bothered to put the effort in? Why was Southampton putting the effort in? And why did they have more desire? Why did they want it more than City? You've got to ask the manager these questions. Have the players down tools for you? Are these players not good enough? Ask some dirty, difficult questions. Make Pep answer them. The guys aren't going to do this. Yeah, it was been a terrible performance. Come on, guys, give us some of your comments. I'm just looking at what people are saying. I can't read it all of it out. I'll change some of the language here, but I'm brassed off about being out of the Carabao Cup. For me, the priority is the Premier League every time. But I'm so effing angry about the complete lack of effort and any desire to win. Absolutely effing abysmal City. Disgraceful. You'd better effing redeem yourselves on Saturday. That's one comment. Another one. Not seen City this bad under Pep. Ever. Okay? I'll tell you what. Another one here. This was at halftime. No exaggeration to say that's probably the worst half of football that we've seen in 6.5 years under Guardiola. Absolutely dire stuff. Not a single player has played well. Feel for those who've made the trip. And I said it earlier in the show. All the fans who have made that trip down from Manchester, paid their hard-earned cash to get tickets, paid for transport, and some of them have had a day off work or had to take half a day off work. And for the players and the manager to put in that level of crap, they should be refunding them because, trust me, those fans do not deserve. I mean, from Manchester, you're looking at, when I used to drive down there, you're looking at a 4.5, 5 hours trip, one way. And you got to come back. Those poor fans are not going to be back home till about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. And they've had to put up with that performance. Absolute crap show. Manchester Blue, I totally agree. I said it sideways, backwards, passing it 2-0, pathetic. We had 2 strikers on and we still passed it sideways and backwards. And said it a few weeks ago about Pep, it's time to go, winning nothing this season. Renzo says, what's going on with Cancelo? The guy is terrible this season. There's too many players who have not been at the races. Cancelo's been poor. Walker, I don't know what he was doing today. Yes, he might argue he's not in a great position. It was terrible. The control, the passing was awful. The desire is not there. And Pep said himself, if the players, if he feels the players aren't, basically, I'm paraphrasing, but if the players aren't playing for me, I'll leave. Or if my message is not getting through, I'll go. Well, Pep, what was your message tonight? Because if your message wasn't getting through to these players, then that's an indictment on the players. If your message was so crap that these players did what you wanted, then it's on you. Hi, Chris. How you doing, buddy? Horrible performance, isn't it? Just City did not turn up tonight. That was so bad. It was worse than that, mate. It was worse. I was spitting feathers watching that. It was horrendous. I really don't know what to say. Walker's played at centre-back. He's never been good there. That's on Pep. Oh, I said that, Renton. I said it at the start. This is on Pep. He picked that side. He picked the tactics. He was joking. This is the arrogance of Pep. Arrogance is joking in the press conference about all these weird ideas. He hopes all the players are fit and all that. And he come out with some horrible decisions. And this is on Pep. Okay? Look, I'm not saying he should go, but he should really consider what the hell he's doing. Because, yes, he's been great for City and everything else. But this is on him. How on earth can the players play so poorly? It's on the manager. If your manager's not set them up right, he's seen these guys in training. He's picked them. You could have said, look, honestly, here's the truth. In my opinion, anyway, here's the truth. All right, it's opinion, but I'm saying it's the truth. You could have sent the EDS lads down there, the under-23s, and they'd have put up a better performance with more guts, more discipline, and more desire than what we showed tonight. You know, Cole Palmer didn't even get in the game because we couldn't get the ball to him. I felt sorry for him. He didn't look great, but I felt sorry for him because we could not get him in the game. We could not get a Weidman in the game. And this has been bugging me for so long. We are tippy-tappy. All these fans who are happy clapping fans. We didn't have a shot on target tonight. We didn't have a shot on target. We were selling him players. We're laughing about we got 15 million for Bazuna. We sold them Lavia. These kids did all right, and you're going to have to look back at the recent results. And I don't care that City are stronger in the second half of the season and all that. We have been shocking. Let's look at some results there. Okay? Let's look at these results and ask ourselves where we're up to. Okay? Ask ourselves where we're up to. I'm going to go back to October. I'm just have a quick look. We were averaging 4 goals a game. We were spanking teams left, right, and centre. I mean, I'll go back to, we beat United 6-3. We beat Copenhagen 5-0. We beat Southampton 4-0. And then something started going wrong. We drew with Copenhagen 0-0. We lost to Liverpool 1-0. We beat Brighton 3-1. That was in De Zerbi's, was it his first or second game in charge or whatever? But I think we did that. We drew with Dortmund 0-0. Stopped scoring goals now. We beat a poor Leicester side 1-0. All right, Leicester, we're bouncing back a little bit. We beat Sevilla 3-1 in a dead rubber in the Champions League. We beat Fulham 2-1. All right, Fulham are in the top 10. Okay. We beat Chelsea 2-0 in the League Cup. We lost at home to Brentford. We struggled to beat Liverpool, even though we had so many chances. We beat Leeds, who were not been great. We drew with Everton, who have lost 6 out of 7 games. The only game that they hadn't lost in that run was the draw with City. We were awful. We had no desire to get that second goal. We scraped home against Chelsea. Yeah. We spanked Chelsea in the league. We spanked Chelsea in the FA Cup. But Chelsea have been horrible. They've been awful. And we got beat today. So it's not been a good run of fixtures not been a good run of results. It's been blooming awful. And I'm yes, I'm going to keep it quiet, but I'm trying to keep me, whatever's left of me cool. Hey, Chris, it was a effing poor result, mate. It was worse than that. It's been horrible. Renzel says, I think for the first time in his City career, Pep is under pressure. If he doesn't win the Champions League this season, many fans will turn on him in the league, which has been our saving grace. We ain't good either. Absolutely. Look, give Arsenal credit because in 16, 17 games, they've dropped points only 3 times. So you've got to give Arsenal credit for that because, for us to be on ahead in 17 games, they've only failed to win 3 times. Yeah, but we failed to win 5. That's why we're 5 points behind. So the league is still there. It's still redeemable, but this cup's gone. One of our favourites is gone. All these stats about when Pep gets to a quarter-final in a domestic cup, never loses. The last 6 times City have been in the quarter-final of the League Cup, we've won the League Cup. Andy Hall, how you doing, buddy? Hope you're well. Worst City performance for years? Absolutely. I can't remember. Bahaji offered Cancelo to Milan. Well, I don't know what to do. Cancelo's dropped off a cliff. Yeah. Has he been thinking that? And I've said this before. You've got to get players in every year, probably 2 that can walk into that first team. Yeah. Or put real pressure on somebody. Gomez ain't putting any pressure on Cancelo. No one's putting pressure on Cancelo. He can take the mick. Walker, until recently, no one's been putting pressure on Walker. Hey, he can take the mick. Laporte weren't great tonight, in my opinion. You could argue he's one of the best, but he's not been under any pressure. So until we've got Akanji and Aki performing really well, those guys put Laporte under pressure. And in fact, Laporte's a bench warmer now. You got Stones as well. You've got to put players under pressure. Who's putting KDB under pressure for his place? Nobody. Has KDB been... I don't agree with the people who say KDB has been brilliant this season. Because in my opinion, he hasn't. He's had moments of magic. He's not driving us through games like he used to. He's not controlling games. He's not destroying teams. He's having some moments of brilliance, like he had a great pass in the first minute of the second half onto Alvarez, who shot wide. It was a great through ball from KDB. But he has these moments, but he's not consistent. He's not all the way through the team. Absolutely, Chris. Arsenal are top because they've won 14 out of 17. Manchester dreading the derby. Absolutely. Look, You've got to be worried if this is our intensity, if this is our effort levels, if this is we didn't want it. We didn't want it. And I said, if you're going to go all that way to Southampton, send the kids. If you're not going to bother, send the kids. Tell the fans, Pep, if you're going to do something dumb, tell the fans to be wary that, maybe they don't need to go because you're going to be picking absolutely crap. I wouldn't say the lineup was crap, but the setup, the tactics, the strategy, the formation, it weren't there, Pep. Okay? And changing it at half time when you're 2-0 down, we didn't really offer enough in that second. And to be honest, they could have got 2 or 3 goals in that second half. It was terrible. And yes, you've got to be dreading the derby. United are on a pretty good run of form. United are doing what we're not. They're consistently, most of the time, consistently winning games. We're not. I'm going to look at, if you look at United's results, okay, look at their recent results, okay. We can go back to November if you want, but they were, look, even if it's all the Europa League, I'm going to go back and we can see how many games United have been winning, okay? And you can argue, Europa League doesn't matter, but they had, let's look, they beat Sheriff Tiraspol 3-0 in the Europa League. They beat West Ham 1-0 at home. Okay, you can argue they're not up against much. They beat Real Sociedad away from home. They lost to Villa, but then they beat, that was in the league. They beat Villa in the League Cup. They beat Fulham away from home. Not Fulham are 8th in the league. They beat Burnley comfortably in the League Cup again. They beat Forest. Okay, you think they're not up against much. They beat Wolves away from home. Okay, and that was a decent performance because Wolves, I think, under Lopetegui will be all right. Then they beat Bournemouth. Okay, Bournemouth are struggling. They beat Everton in the FA Cup, and Everton's how that drew with us. They beat Charlton in the League Cup. What they've got, they might not have beaten too much in a lot of those games, if we're honest, but they're consistent. They're scoring goals. Last 3 games, they scored 3 goals per game. Rashford scoring goals, and in fact, in their last 5 games, they scored 3 goals 4 times. That's not bad. You've got to give them some credit, even though might not like them. You've got to give them a little bit of credit, but it's been crap. Bayaji, 0 shots on target with so much talent on the pitch. Last season, only 1 versus Southampton in the injury champ. But there you go. It's not been good. We are back to being poor against teams that press us hard and defend with 5 at the back and keep it narrow. We haven't got that skill. Sorry, we didn't have it with Palmer and Grealish. I didn't get much of the ball, but we didn't have it with Palmer, Grealish. Foden was a bit better, but that's it. Chris says, just so we pick up the derby against United on Saturday. Absolutely. Managers have been sacked for less. Players look clueless how to beat Saints. Absolutely right, Andy Hoyle. Eric says, do we pick up the rest of the season? We've got to. We can't. Look, I've been saying it for a while. We can't get away with putting in crap performances and getting lucky, having moments of magic. We're not creaming teams. Hi, Faris. Oh, we were crap, Faris. That's putting it politely. And Pep as well. Pep was the worst because he picked that team. He picked those players. He picked the formation. He picked the tactics and everything else. That's on Pep. And I said it earlier in the show. At some point, we have to question. Yeah, he's done wonders for the club. And I'm not going to diss him for what he's achieved. But sometimes you think, is this one contract too far? It was just awful. Unfortunately, Gomez has proved me wrong. Gomez is not good enough, says Andy Hoyle. His close control anticipation of danger is not quick enough at this level. Faris' Grealish was ineffective as usual. Palmer still lacking a lot and making some of the same mistakes. Manchester Blues, Pep never changes the way he plays, so clubs have sussed us out. Faris says, I'm disappointed with Ortega because I expect a lot from him. I thought he was okay. I thought he might have been out of position for the second goal. But I've been reasonably... with the keeper, I've been reasonably happy with him most of the time. But it was a terrible performance. Phillips is afraid of getting the ball. Phillips was horrible. Cancelo will also remain on the bench this season because he's still playing. Phillips, I said it earlier in the show. We sold them Lavia. Yeah, we thought we got a bit of money out of that. And we bought Phillips for like 40-odd million. And to be honest, if you look at the two, Lavia had the better game. They beat us in midfield. They wanted it more. They had the desire in midfield. And we were not the races. Andy Hall says, I think Palmer is too greedy. He's not playing for the team, whereas Grealish is not greedy enough and just passes instead of trying to go past players. Thing is, there's a bit of, I think you've got some good points there, Andy. The thing with Palmer is, I said it last week. I say it when I'm on the Boat from the Blue podcast. I find him greedy because he knows he's got to deliver. And that's making him more greedy than he should be. And he's not as much of a team player. Having said that, he put a good ball on for Gundogan, who missed the target when he really should have had it on target. You never know, he could have scored. But it was a decent opportunity from the edge of the box. So I think Palmer's under pressure. He's under pressure because he doesn't know how many more. Look, he knows he's not going to play in the derby. Palmer knows that. Palmer knows he's hardly going to play in the league. He knows he's not going to play in the Champions League. So he has to shine whenever he gets the opportunities, and they're rare. So because of that, he's a bit greedy. Look, if Palmer scored a hat-trick tonight, he still wouldn't have played in the derby. But he puts himself up there to be chosen in a league game in the future when Pep's thinking, can I rest somebody? Palmer's been banging on the door. Say, look, Pep, I scored 2 goals or I got an hat-trick or whatever. You've got to be thinking about playing me in the games where you want to rotate players. That's why I think he's trying to do too much. Grealish doesn't do enough. He hasn't got the pace. We know that. He's got some decent trickery, but he hasn't got the pace. He should have been doing what Foden did 2 seasons back. Spent the summer, even at 27 or however old he is Grealish, he should have spent some time working on his pace. Look, if he can get just a little bit quicker, that makes a huge amount of difference. You know, we're talking about marginal gains. We saw Foden's picked up his pace. He's made significant increases to his pace, his speed. Grealish could have done the same. Okay, obviously we had the World Cup, so he's probably not wanting a bus to go in the summer, but he should have worked on his sprinting. Look, if he could have made a 1 or 2% improvement in his sprinting speed, we might not notice much, but it's these marginal gains. It's that, as I said, it's that desire. It's that professionalism, it's wanting to get that little bit extra out of your body. It's that motivation, that willpower to push yourself just that little bit more. It's to say, if everybody's going to push yourself to 100%, I'm going to push myself to 110%. I'm going to do more. I'm not going to fail. And this is what anybody in life should look at this. I'm not going to fail because I didn't put enough effort in. If you fail because you're not good enough, fair dues. If you tried your best, you put your maximum effort in training and in games, hey, that's life. You can't do anything else but that. Let's go to some comments. Faris says, I don't like Pep starting Ake, Akanji, and Lewis, but it seems that those 3 are starters now because Walker and Cancelo don't deserve to start. Can't argue with that, mate. If Stones is fit, then I'll play Ake, Stones, Laporte, and Lewis as our back 4. I'm trying to work out how you're going to have that. Lewis on the right, Ake on the left, Stones and Laporte. Akanji? I don't know. Grealish doesn't deserve to start. Totally agree. This is his chance to shine. Phillips is simply terrible siding, not worth a place in the squad. I'm not sure about placing the squad, but look, you've got to give him games. It's his first. I always say this. You've got to give him a season. Foden has, for me, Foden has more spark. Foden is like a combination of players. He's like he's got the trickery of Grealish and Mahrez, but he's got that little bit of pace. He's got that little bit of directness. He's going to go for it. He's going to go for to actually take people like your Palmer was trying to be a bit greedy. But Foden will do that, and he will make something happen. But there was nothing happening tonight. Even Foden struggled to control the ball, struggled to pass it. I just don't understand. Just don't understand it at all. Yeah, I feel sorry for Alvarez. Do you know who's won? Do you know who's benefited from this? That one of the players 2 or 3 players have benefited from this performance. Rodri's benefited because we saw how poor Phillips was. Mahrez has benefited because Palmer couldn't get into the game. Okay, so those 2 players have definitely benefited. Ake at left back, probably Ake should start against United because he's not exciting going forwards. But hey, he's not a calamity at the back like Gomez has been, like Cancelo is. So absolutely, that's as well, right, Faris? Lewis has benefited. I can see Lewis starting, and probably want it. He's not shown too much naivety. He's been quite safe for me as well. He's not shown too much naivety in defence. He's tenacious. He works hard. He puts those tackles in, and he will fight. And he's a City fan. So for all those reasons, I can see him starting on Saturday. Andy says, I thought Alvarez missed an easy chance, and at the start of the second half that Haaland would have scored. I'm not, well, look, here we go. Haaland against Leeds, how many chances did he miss? Was it 4? Everybody misses chances. So we can't say Haaland would have scored. You know, the last game, Haaland missed it, was it a couple of chances? He scored a goal. It's, you know, he still misses chances. Farris says, I think Pep changed things up because a lot of those, loads of players weren't performing. True. I think on the commentary, they said that Pep was going to play KDB and Haaland for some minutes. I don't think he expected to play KDB for a full half. I think he was looking at 20 minutes once we were cruising. Who would I play on Saturday? I would play Edison, Lewis, Stones if he's fit. I'll go with Laporte because I don't think Akanji can play that left-hand side. Laporte or Akanji, I'll say. And at left back, you've got to play Ake. Rodri, Bernardo, KDB, because I love Gundogan. He was awful. Awful. So I'll pick KDB and Bernardo. Up front, Mahrez, easy choice. Foden, Haaland. Chelsea actually made us look better than we were. I said Chelsea. Look, people are blowing smoke up City's backside. We beat Chelsea away from home. We were awful that game. Okay, we weren't good at all. We beat Chelsea at home. They were shocking. They're 10th in the league for a reason. They're getting beat for a reason, Chelsea. You know, you look at Chelsea's recent results. Yes, you can argue they've been unlucky to play us twice since the restart. But they're sat in 10th for a reason. Yeah? They're sat in 10th for a reason. Let's look at Chelsea's and to get a better idea of where we really are. Okay? I'm going to go through some results. I'm going to probably go back to, let's go back to October. Okay? Brentford 0, Chelsea 0. Brentford doing all right. Not too bad. Chelsea 1, United 1. Okay, United are up there. Not too bad. Salzburg 1, Chelsea 2. Okay, got through. No problem. Brighton 4, Chelsea 1. That's the end of October. Chelsea 2, Dinamo Zagreb 1. Okay, Dinamo Zagreb ain't that much. Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. You could say Chelsea. Was that the game they were a bit unlucky? Fair, whatever. But they lost. Man City 2, Chelsea 0. That was the EFL Cup. Newcastle 1, Chelsea 0. Okay, in the league, they beat Bournemouth 2-0. Bournemouth have lost a lot of games on the bounce. They drew with Forest 1-1. They lost to City 1-0. They lost to City 4-0. Okay? So they've got beat a few times recently. They've not looked that good. So us beating them 4-0, like you say, Forest, I thought we weren't great. We had the chances because Chelsea was so bad. Omar Abdurrahman, how you doing, buddy? We're losing to RBL in the Champions League. If we play like that, obviously, you'd like to think we're going to start getting better. We still got over a month before that game. Hopefully, we can suddenly find some form. Faris says, Ake isn't good going forwards, but he puts in the effort. He's great at the back, and that's what matters to me right now. You look at today, if we had a better left back, if Ake had been a left back from the start of the game, I think we'd have been a much more resolute, solid side. But we'd have still lost. And this is Green Sean, not looking very hopeful. And is a good goal poacher, though, says Aaron. Haaland's got a ton of goals, but I said it before. I don't think he makes us a better team overall because of we've lost a little bit of movement, but I don't know. Does need a total rethinking of the summer. So much is wrong at City. This performance I've seen more than once. Absolutely. Right back would be Lewis. Walker. If Walker put in a good show tonight, it'd have been Walker. Okay, because I want his experience. But you know, if you're going to put shockers in like this, I can't see it. If he's taken off because he's injured, can't see him being ready in 3 days. We need some sort of rethink because some players aren't playing. It's horrible to think that some players aren't really playing, and Pep's making shocking decisions. And we've accepted it because you say 80% he gets right. We win trophies, but you've got to be honest. He makes some appalling, abysmal, crazy decisions at times. I don't know why. I don't know why. But I've said it before, sometimes with genius, you overthink and you act genius yourself. Andy says, I agree, Daz. I have a feeling our crown is slipping unless we are careful and invest well. It's not just about investment. We're getting some kids coming through. That's going to help us. It's not just about investment, but it's about playing the system tonight was shocking. The system was terrible. System was terrible. So, that led to our downfall. And then the lack of effort, that's on Pep and the players who played. Farris says, Cheeky completely bottled the left-back situation in the summer. Well, look, they might have looked at Gomez and thought, they would have looked at Cancelo. Look, we won the league last season. Yes, you've got to step up. But we won the league last season. And they got Gomez. They thought, that's probably all right. They probably thought, that's as much as we need. We had Lewis coming through on the right with Walker. They probably thought that's as much as we need. Now, I've been saying we need one more fullback. We need a fullback. And I would have gone for a right back because we have Laporte and Aki who can play left back. Stones has played out at right back, but he's not a right back. So I would have got another right back to challenge Walker, to put him under pressure. Yeah. If you wanted, you could have got another top quality left back, attacking left back. So Cancelo could have played on the right because he used to play there when Walker was slipping a couple of seasons ago, and Cancelo had a cracking season at right back. When actually it coincided when KDB wasn't in the team, but that puts pressure on Walker. If you've got another top quality left back, Aki's there now, so you could have Aki there, and you can have Cancelo and Walker fighting for right back. Well, they're going to lose to Rico Lewis at the moment, but man. I'll be honest. I don't say as far as I don't think we'll win on Saturday. We have to. We have to win. There's no question. You can rely on you can't rely on Spurs, but I think Spurs will get something out of that game against Arsenal. I think that's 50-50, not a comfortable win. If you're looking at the league tables and everything with Arsenal, how they've been playing, I think that Arsenal could get slapped a new one, because I think Spurs will raise their game for that for the North London derby. So that might be a draw. This is our chance to catch Arsenal by a couple of more points. A draw is not good enough for us. Andy says Newcastle are getting closer. Man U look like they are coming back. Absolutely. It's tough. Is our midfield really good at holding? Says Aaron. Tonight's wasn't. Phillips was shocking. Arsenal, they are not going to fall. I don't think they'll fall away, Andy, but I think they will drop points. There's no way Arsenal are going to play the next 21 games and not drop points. Yeah? In half the season, they dropped 3. In 3 games, they've dropped points, and it's less than half the season. So I think in the remainder of the season, they'll drop points, and at least 5 or 6 games, it's up to us to take points off them when we played them twice. But if they drop points in 5 or 6 games, that's for us then to catch them. Is Murray moving to Arsenal? I think he will, Aaron. I think, the selling club are just trying to get the right, a bit more money out of Arsenal, because they know the player wants to go. Arsenal want him. They're just trying to squeeze a few more quid out of Arsenal. I think he will go. I'm not even sure him in the top 2. And I'm not going to say that yet. We're still ahead. We're still ahead of United and Newcastle. I've got to have a little bit of faith. Let's look at that. Let's look at that table again. Look, we're 4 points ahead of Newcastle, game in hand. We should, and 4 points ahead of United, play the same number of games. Lose on Saturday, United are 1 point behind us, play the same number of games. That's going to be tough. Look, I can't turn around and say we should still beat them, because they put in the results. They've won 11 games. We've only won 12. They're getting the results, and that's all that matters, isn't it? Lewis is quick, but he ain't good at aerial challenges, I think, says Aaron. I agree, but if Stones is there, I would just let Stones come out and make those aerial challenges. When Stones was playing with Diaz, okay, this is how I saw it, was Stones would win most of the headers outside the box. He was the one that would go forward, win those headers. And the ones in the box, Diaz was winning them. So that's how I saw it. So I don't see why, if the headers are there, Stones comes out. Stones uses what physical prowess he's got, his physicality. It's not the same as Walker's, but he uses his and his height and his experience and and everything else to go to win the balls, and leave Rico Lewis to pick up the pieces afterwards if there's a flick on, because Rico Lewis has got the pace. Never mind, could be a Chelsea fan, absolutely. And look, we could have been supporting Liverpool this season. Yeah, okay, they're up to 6th now, but they've lost 5 games this season, and they've only won 8. They won as many games as Brighton and Fulham. So it could be as bad as them, but we've got to be glad we know. Fair to say English players are terribly overrated. So Well, in some respects they are. English tax. I would like to see Rice or Bellingham at City, says Andy. I'll say it again. Said it before several times. I think. Look. I said I think Bellingham. When you look at who can afford him, if you're going to have to pay 100 million quid to buy him and 15 million quid a year or 20 million quid a year on his wages, that's going to cost. That's expensive. That's expensive. 100 million. I've said it before. When you look at finances, you've got to look at the amortization. How much is actually going to hit your books? What numbers are going to hit your books? And you put someone on a 6-year contract, and let's say it's cost you 120 million. That's 20 million a year. If you paid 20 million wages, that's another 20. That's 40 million. That's serious amount of money. Real Madrid will have the same problem, Aaron. You've got to be paying 40 million. Real Madrid need a striker. They're talking about Harry Kane at the moment. Benzema ain't going to last forever. How old's Benzema? 33, 34. So he's going to be knocking on as well. So I said it before when we were looking at, when everybody was looking at where Haaland would go. I said this ages ago. Okay, I said the smart money's on City because we could afford the transfer fee, we can afford his wages and all the money that comes with it and everything else. And we had a good project. Yeah. In England, we were the only option. The only 3 options that Haaland had was City, PSG, Real Madrid. That's it. Bayern Munich, I didn't see that happening, okay? Those were, you'd look at it. You wouldn't go to Chelsea because Chelsea ain't going to win out. Liverpool the same. And PSG, are they going to win the Champions League? Look, you could look at it and say, but they got Messi and Mbappe. Yeah? Neymar. But then Haaland will say, well, where do I fit? Where do I fit in? So there's that as well. So I said to you, I don't think Real Madrid have got the money to get Haaland. So for many reasons, Haaland's at us. And it's the same with Jude Bellingham. I reckon if you want to get Jude Bellingham, you're going to be paying 100, 120 million quid. Unless he's got a cheap release clause like Haaland. And you can pay him about 20 million a year in salaries. Okay? So that's a fair bit of money. Who can afford him? Chelsea? Absolutely. Would he go there or should he go there? Absolutely not. They're not probably going to be in the Champions League. They're miles away from winning anything. Okay. If Liverpool don't make the Champions League, that makes it more difficult for them to go there. Could they afford him? I think they can. Okay. But they've spent money on Akpo. They've spent money on Nunez in the summer. So, yeah, I'm not sure how much spare capacity they do have, but they're going to put some good numbers in there next set of accounts. So I think they could afford that. Excuse me. So, but if they don't get Champions League, maybe that will put him off. Okay. Maybe that will put him off going there. Real Madrid, once again, as I said, you're talking about money. Okay. PSG, can't see it. Can't see him going to PSG. So I think once again, City are in pole financial position. And we're also in pole project. Let's call it project. We're in the pole position for Bellingham when it comes to look. I still think playing under Pep. Players want to play under Pep Guardiola. They want to learn under him. Okay, and City will still be there or thereabouts. So I can see, for those reasons. But for other reasons, he might decide not to come to City. We'll see. But we need somebody because I said it many times. Mahrez is knocking on. KDB's, they're all in the 30s. Mahrez is 31, 32. KDB's same. I think Mahrez and Gundogan's 32. Gundogan's definitely at least 32. And then Bernardo Silva keeps begging to leave or mentioning that he wants to leave. So we need somebody else. We got potentially 4 spots up for grabs in the next 2 years. Now, it might be that Foden fills one of those. Might be that Palmer's good enough to fill one. But I think you want someone like Bellingham. to fill another one of those and then get a proper out-and-out winger. Ben Smith 35, Real Madrid, better straight pass, Valencia down to Super Copper. Well, there you go. They need somebody to get somebody. If the latest rumours about Harry Kane, if Tottenham don't make the Champions League, could Harry Kane leave? If Real Madrid come knocking, I can see that, because Harry Kane will look at it and say, well, I'm not going to go and play for another English club. I'm going to play for Real Madrid. Could also have the point that Harry Kane's been there so long, he's going to break so many records, he might stay to break the records, which I think it lacks ambition. It's great to break all these records, but go out and win some, Harry. Go to Real Madrid if they come calling. So if they're going to have to pay 80, 100 million for him, I don't think they can afford Bellingham as well. Theo says Pep out. It happened too many times. Yeah, look, it's been shocking. It's been shocking. And JS says, what a shocking performance. Mate, it was worse than that. It really was. And he says, I can't believe I've got up at 3 a.m. to watch the game. I feel sorry for the away fans making that journey. Players should reinvest. I said at the top of the show, I've said it at least twice. And it should be the club, it should be the players and the manager. They should dip into their own pockets and pay those fans. Because we had 3,200 fans there. I bet you at least 2,500 have come from around Manchester. Now, you're coming from Manchester, even if it's South Manchester, you're looking at between 4 and 4.5 hours to get to Southampton. And the parking ain't next door either. If you go on the coach, okay, but the coach doesn't go as fast as your car. The parking ain't next door. You park a fair bit away, and then you walk. All right, tonight during the summer or at night, I went there. I remember going for the last game of the Centurion season. Really nice walk down. I think I was wearing my Sane top. It's a nice walk down. But in this weather, it's horrible. So those fans have, some of them are taking time off work. They pay for the tickets, pay for the travel, and to be given that unedifying performance is not fair on them. They need to be reimbursed, because if Pep was going to put this shocking formation out, yeah, he should have told the fans before. And he said, I'm going to screw you up, guys. You're going to come all this way, and who knows what's going to happen. I know, I'm just not happy. Rob says, Stone's not, I don't know, MOT. I don't know what your MOT means, me. But Stones won't get dropped, and Mahrez not get dropped if Ake is left back. I'm an astronaut. Too many changes again. Pep never settled on back for Palmer. Not good enough. I don't know. Look, I'm not saying that some players aren't good enough. But I said many times, you can't make so many changes, especially to the back line and midfield. You can't make too many changes. You can't have too many second stringers in. You can't have too many second stringers in, because it doesn't work. It's not cohesive. And they can look, say, hey, we beat Chelsea 4-0, but Chelsea were awful. GS has had enough of Pep. He has to take blame. He has to change the style of play tactics. Cancelo's been giving me depression lately. Don't be depressed. If you'd been there at the times when City were dropping down divisions, that would really make you sad. Johnny Channel, that result was coming. That team selection was shocking. Please, Guardiola should resign when he gets back to his penthouse and the players where's it? There was no desire. I bet Pep will say it was a very good performance. Omar Abdurrahman, I don't think Pep can say that. Look, if I was a journo, I said it before, I'd have been turfed out. I'd have been banned, because I would have asked the questions that eventually, maybe the first few press conferences, I'd have been too shy or too reluctant to say anything. But if I'd seen a performance like this, I'd have been, obviously you can't lay into the manager at the press conference, but I'd have been asking him hard questions. Why did we sell Lavia if Phillips is putting in this kind of performance? Okay. What formation did you pick? What were your tactics? What were your strategy? How can we put in such a terrible performance? JS says Phillips is the biggest fraud at City. Andy says, Cancelo is struggling. Wonder if he has having inner battles given his family history. I don't think so. But Pep said some of these players haven't looked at it in training. One of them was Cancelo. Another was Foden. Another was Walker. They're all started tonight, and none of them, were any good. We might have lost to Liverpool in the previous round of Carabao. Nunes missed many one-on-ones and still the score was 3-2. Look, Aaron, in that game we missed. We could have had 5 or 6 goals in that first half, so we had a lot of chances, but we're just not creating anymore. Pep says that the lineup didn't matter because the performance was bad. The lineup matters, Pep. He's just BSing us. I hate that. I hate being BS'd. Love Pep, but let's be honest, he doesn't make the subs change stuff while we're struggling. Well, he changed 3 at our time. Can't knock him for that this time, but it weren't enough. I agree because even after KDB, Haaland, Rodri, and Aki coming on, we were still shocking. We just never upped the gear. United for the quad says Rob. Yeah, well, that's our quad gone. Gundogan too slow. Cancelo form is shocking. Need Bellingham. Rob, I've said it. Obviously you probably heard. I said I think we're in poor position financially and tactically and project wise, but we'll have to wait and see if it happens. Rico loses City's best player. I wouldn't say he's the best player, John. I think that's a little bit blowing it up a bit too much. But I can only assume that the players who are on the bench are the players who are going to start in the derby. But it's not the right way to go into the derby. All that way, even the players all that way, put in that performance, get a shocking result, get bundled out of the cup, and you're going to come back to Manchester. GS, we're not the same team. We don't create and score and play like we used to. Absolutely. Please, no Bellingham. We go get 2 top players for half the price. I don't agree with that, Omar Abdurrahman. I'm always ready to listen to people who I think are good judges who've got that experience, and a lot of them are saying that Bellingham is the man. I've got a friend of mine who's a coach. He tells me Bellingham, when I asked him last season, which players would you go for? I think I asked him for 3, and one of them was Bellingham. So, I trust his judgment. Capital Casual, we are City win or lose. Absolutely. But we're entitled to be a little bit angry and frustrated about that performance and result. Rather have McAtee back. Well, at GS, I said that I'd rather have McAtee on the wing than, did I say Grealish? I'm sure I did. I said I'd rather have McAtee legging it down the wing than Grealish. Johnny City Channel just looked at Southampton home games, 1 win, 5 losses, and 3 draws before today. Yeah, exactly. We'd let in 2 goals in 8 games away from home this season, and Southampton have done nothing. Why are they bottom of the league? They're bottom of the league for a reason. And we made them look like world beaters tonight. Right, guys, I'm going to start winding it down because I've got a bit of the lurgy, got a sore throat, and it's a bit of a problem speaking. Nightcrawler, how you doing, buddy? Midfield and defence in the first half, championship level. Oh, mate, I don't even think it was as good as that. We give that ball away. We did it a few times early on. And I thought, all right, we'll sort it out, but we didn't. And I'm not going to watch the game again to find out how many times. How many times did we give cheap balls with unforced errors? It was shocking. Omar Abdurrahman says, we just need to play quicker, too slow for my liking. The players seem to be afraid of playing. Absolutely. I've said it again and again and again. When we cause trouble to opposition teams, we're passing that ball around quickly. We move it. Look at one of the goals against Chelsea. Look at where we moved it around so quickly. That was the City of old. Okay. Cheers, Faris. Thanks for coming on, mate. JS says, which position would I strengthen? Okay, Mahrez wasn't playing, and we think Mahrez has got a little bit better. But I want a right winger. I want a proper right winger. I want pace. I want trickery. Mahrez has got trickery, but he hasn't got pace. I want someone with lightning pace. That causes so many problems for defenders. Nightcrawler says we need a quick winger to transition our game so we aren't predictable on what we do. Every winger is so predictable. That's it. I want the fella from Napoli. I don't think we'll get him, but I want someone with pace who will get past people, who can put a decent cross in so we don't have to rely on KDB, and who can score a few goals. It's what we had in their pomp, Sterling and Sane. Sterling and Sane stretch teams. We had defenders scared to come out, attackers, because they were worried about Sterling and Sane getting in behind. And to be honest, not many players could keep up with Sterling and Sane. So when they did get behind, that did create chances. And yes, they might fluff a few, but we could just use their pace. Right now, when you got Grealish, you can't use his pace because he ain't got none. Same with Mahrez, he ain't got none. So where I would strengthen, definitely I would strengthen the right wing. Where else? I definitely strengthen fullbacks. Now, last season I wanted a new right back. I want a new right back and a new left back. I want players at the top of their game. You've got to, I've said this for many seasons, even when you won something, You don't need wholesale changes, but you've got to bring in minimum one, probably two players who will push somebody else out of that team. Somebody who is not squad players, who will push a first teamer onto the bench. Okay? Now, if we'd got a better left back, that'd have pushed Cancelo onto the bench. That is improving the team. Is Akanji better than what we had? I think at top level, Diaz is better than Akanji, but Diaz hasn't been top level for a while and he's injured. So I'm not sure about that, but Akanji has played a lot of games. And at right back, okay, Rico Lewis has come in and he sorted out that position. It's going to be his own for years to come, I think, if you can just keep on improving he doesn't even need to improve that much, but keep on improving as he gets older and gets more experience. So those positions would make a difference. The fullbacks, look what happened when Walker came in. We got Walker for the Centurion season. In Pep's second season, that's when we got Walker. Look at the difference Walker made. Look at the difference Walker made to us. So I would get two new fullbacks. That's the start. A new right winger. You don't have to get them all. You just need two of these positions would make a difference. Cheers, Aaron. Thanks for coming on, mate. Fullbacks, winger. Nightcrawler says, if we get someone with pace, I generally hope Pep doesn't turn them into Grealish style of players. I want them to play like Sané and Sterling used to back in the day. Absolutely, mate. Playing Aki at left back is fantastic when you want to defend, but he's naturally a centre back, so his contribute to the attack is it's limited. I'm not going to blame him for lack of contribution because we've got people like Gundogan, we've got people like Foden, Grealish, Mahrez, Haaland, Alvarez, Bernardo. Did I mention KDB? Cole Palmer. We've got 10 players there, 9 or 10 players who should be contributing our goals. We shouldn't have to rely on Aki. Fullbacks do that. Nightcrawler says, I'd rather play Foden on the right wing and get a right-footed left winger, someone with pace who can cut inside with KDB long passes and get into scoring position. To be honest, I don't care who plays on which wing. I want a new pacey right winger. Mahrez has done a bit better, but ask yourselves, what has he played against? We played against Leeds, not doing very well. We played against Everton, shocking Everton. We played against Chelsea, really struggling. Liverpool, when we played them, they were probably 7th or 8th in the league. So that was in the Carabao Cup. What have we beaten recently? They're not, we've not been up against much. Andy Hall says getting Sané back is a good shot. It ain't happening. He left because of Pep. He ain't coming back for Pep. Sané's contract with Bayern runs out in 2025. I'd love to approach him in 2024. He seems like, I think he does miss the club, but Pep won't bring him back because his attitude. Now, if Pep is honest and says we kept offering him a contract, we wanted him to stay, why don't they bring him back? I just don't see it happening. Leao is a good player, tall, strong, pacey, has skills on him as well. Perfect play for us. As I said, I like that kid from Napoli, the Georgian kid. I like him. I think he would cause a lot of problems, create a lot of havoc in the Premier League, but especially in the City side. Right, guys, I'm going to shoot. I know there's a lot of you on still wanting to chat, but if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Hit that like button, gives a thumbs up, and hit that bell icon so you're notified when new videos come out. And hopefully I'll do a video tomorrow talking about Pep and where's it all going wrong. Thanks for coming on, guys. It's been a long one. I was hoping to go on just for 10 minutes, have a quick rant, get it off my chest. But it's going to take a little while to get this out of my system, especially if we don't put up a good performance and get the result against United at the weekend. Take care, guys. Hopefully we'll bounce back at the weekend and we'll see you around Blues.